Welcome to Recovery Inspired Hope. There has been so many things that have shaped me to get to the place that I am today. There are so many things that happen in our lives that create us to be who we are. And, when we look at those experiences, sometimes we might look at them like, oh, this is a bad thing. Like when this happened, we associate these bad feelings and these bad memories to the things that happen. But the truth is that we should be grateful for every moment that has happened in our life because it has shaped us to be the person that we are today. I have a huge experience of working in the sex trade and working in strip clubs, and I've got so many stories that I can tell you about them. But the truth is that if I had not been through those experiences, I could not be the person that I am today. And even in the way that I deal with people and relationships and the way that I view men, all has been shaped by those experiences. And some of them I had to heal from. Some of them had so much trauma attached to them. And I really had to make a decision that I was going to learn from these experiences. I'm not going to be defined by my experiences, but I'm going to learn from them. And I'm going to move forward, and I'm going to remember the lessons that I've learned, and I'm going to apply these things to my life. Coming into recovery July 20th, 2015 was the best thing that I've ever done. And I didn't go willingly, okay? I wasn't like, oh yay, sign me up, I'm excited to go. No, I was like, I have no other option besides go back to jail. And that for sure I didn't want to do. So I decided to, come into a sober living. I decided to come into recovery. What I found in there was an infilling of love that I had been searching for my whole entire life. I tell this story a lot about looking for love in all the wrong places. So the truth is, when I was out there working in sex work, when I was out there working at the strip clubs, I was looking for love and acceptance. I was looking to feel worthy. I was looking to feel like I meant something to someone. I was looking to feel like I had value. And I was looking for those things in all the wrong places, right? First of all, it was really hard to be in a relationship when you're a stripper. First of all, how are you going to bring the stripper home to mama, right? It's like, oh, okay, honey, how was work today? Oh, good. We had to throw, one guy out the club for trying to touch my crotch. But other than that, Mrs. Smith, it was great. How do you have that kind of conversation where you're like, okay, it just doesn't work. And then when, working in sex work, when you're on the street, when you are having sex for money, how do you handle a relationship like that? It's impossible to do it. It is impossible. And when I was in those situations, when I was with these men, when I was working, I would literally get offended about the fact that they paid me to leave, right? Because that's what you do in prostitution. They pay you to leave. And so I was so upset. I would be so offended, and I would take it to heart, like, why don't they want to keep me? Why don't they love me? Why didn't they want me to stay longer? And that probably sounds crazy to you, but that was literally what was going on inside of my head. I was like, what's wrong with me? I had serious rejection issues, and I was constantly looking for acceptance and love through sex work. And it was like the craziest thing because logically thinking about it today, it's like, of course they didn't keep you. You know what I mean? Because they weren't trying to have you come over to have a relationship. They were having you come over to have sex and then leave and be quiet about it as well. And, you know, in that, my thinking was so screwed up. So when I came into recovery and I found the love of women in the recovery community who truly loved me, the peers, the community, the people who worked in the recovery centers, they truly wanted me to be better. They truly wanted me as part of their community. It was authentic. It was real. And they, you know, there's these little cliches like, oh, we're going to love you till you love yourself. And I really needed that. I needed someone to love me till I could love myself, because I didn't love myself. I was so focused on, why don't you love me? Why don't you like me? Why don't you want to keep me? Why do these people keep throwing me away, that I could never find any love for myself, because I was always just so focused on like these people not loving me and not caring about me and not wanting to keep me. And it was like constant heartbreak, you know? So coming into recovery and learning how to receive love, not only learning how to receive the people in my community's love, but learning how to receive love from a power greater than myself, you know, being open and doing, you know, for me, my pathway was steps. So, you know, doing the step work, step 3 and step 4, where you know, turn your will and your life over to God. And then you go into this 4th and 5th step where you have to share your dirtiest, darkest secrets with pretty much a stranger, you know? I mean, there's a level of trust, but for real, it's not somebody that you know very well, you know? And being able to just bare your soul, and then being able to go to God with it and saying, God, here it is. These are all my mistakes. These are the things that I did in my life, you know? And for me, that was really hard. I really had to be like, okay, God, I see you want me to do this 3rd step where I turn my will and my life over to the care of God. But I don't know how you feel about me. I don't even know what you think about me, God. I know what I learned in my religious, you know, journeys here, that you're this all-powerful God, that you can, you know, send lightning bolts down, and that you might send me to heaven when you read this 4th step that I wrote. But really though, how can I turn my will and my life, my thoughts and my actions, my true trust in everything over to you when I think you're trying to damn me to hell, right? Let's be real about it, okay? I don't even know you. Where were you when this happened, when this happened, when this happened? Where were you then? And now you want me to come to you now, right? And that was so challenging to me. And something profound happened when I came to God in true vulnerability, in true honesty. When I came to God and said, God, I honestly don't know how you feel about me. I honestly don't know if you like me. And the next day, I was at my mom's house. I was sitting at the kitchen table with my daughter. She was coloring, she was scribbling. She wasn't doing anything crazy. She had food all over her face. Her hair was a mess. And I'm looking at her, you know, she's about 6 years old, and I'm just looking at her in this adoration, like, this is the most beautiful creature I have ever seen in my life. I just love her. And the Lord said to me in that moment, that is how I feel about you. And it blew my mind and changed my life forever. To know that God, the God of the heavens and the earth, looked at me and felt about me with the unfathomable love, unexplainable, unexpressible amount of love that I have for my own child, that he loves me more. Wow. And that just set me in this place where I was actually able to receive love for the first time. it was a long journey when it came to forgiveness with myself. I had to, really, really intentionally work on loving myself and forgiving myself. I had an experience one time where I was meditating, and in my meditation, I saw myself. And I saw myself looking at myself in a mirror. And in this meditation, God was behind me. And he had his hand on my back. And he said, I want you to look in this mirror and I want you to say, Jamie, I forgive you. And I was like, oh God, I don't like the way it feels. I don't know if I can do it. And he said, I want you to say it. And so I looked in the mirror and I tried to say it again. And I couldn't do it. And I said, God, I can't do it. I can't forgive myself. And he said, who are you to decide who deserves forgiveness and who doesn't? And that was another moment of conviction for me. That right there also was something that truly changed my life. Who was I to decide that I couldn't be forgiven for the terrible things I did, for the people I hurt, for the families that I broke apart? Who was I to decide whether or not I could be forgiven for all of the things that I had done? I am not the one who decides that. I am not the one in charge of that. That is not in my department and above my pay grade. And believing that and knowing that was so freeing. So today, I would ask you, who are you to decide that you cannot be forgiven for the things that you did in your active addiction? Who are you to decide that you're not worthy of love? That you're not worthy of true love? Stop looking for love in all the wrong places. All the love that you need is in God and in your community. Hope you guys have a great day. Subscribe to Jamie Tall on YouTube for more amazing content.